Good morning, everyone. Today on Perspectives, we'll hear how a new partnership between the City of Mobile and a local bank want to build a business legacy by dedicating small business loans to local entrepreneurs who might otherwise not qualify for small business loans. Well, you know that small business, it fuels the U.S. economy. They employ more people and are more resilient when times get tough, like during the pandemic. Now, one example says that just as tiny droplets of water slowly fill a bucket, the growth of small businesses fills the U.S. economy. Big corporations might get a lot of attention when it comes to creating jobs, but remember, all big businesses started out small before coming up with something innovative that propelled them into growing to what they've become. But small businesses, they drive the economy, and it's said that they keep the American dream alive. According to the Small Business Association, the SBA, small businesses of 500 employees or fewer, they make up 99.9% of all U.S. businesses and 99.7% of the firms with paid employees. Now, of the new jobs created between 1995 and the year 2020, small businesses accounted for 62%. That's some 12.7 million compared to just 7.9 million by larger enterprises. A 2019 SBA report found that small businesses accounted for 44% of U.S. economic activity. So, without small businesses, the American economy and workforce as we know it would be pretty difficult to imagine. Our guest this morning on Perspectives, Arshanique Kidd. She is the Supplier Diversity Manager for the City of Mobile. And also joining us today, Sydney King, President, CEO of Commonwealth National Bank. Well, after a quick break this morning, we'll talk with our guest, Ms. Kidd of the City of Mobile and Mr. King of Commonwealth National Bank as we discuss how a new partnership is launching a program to help support and grow local small businesses, the driving force of our economy. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Welcome back this morning. We're talking about a very exciting partnership created between Commonwealth National Bank. Mr. Sydney King is here. He's the president and CEO. And the City of Mobile. And Arshanique Kidd is here. She is the manager of the Supplier Diversity Program for the City of Mobile. We thank you both for joining us today to talk about this is this historic? Is this a historic partnership?
I would say it is.
Yes, definitely the first of its kind.
And so, of course, that's always something that we look forward to seeing new things happen that are going to be a benefit. Before we get into some of the particulars about the partnership, let's talk about why is this important? Why is it important to have small business be supported in the way that this partnership is going to help fuel the small business and entrepreneurs here in this community?
I think, first of all, one, within our smaller communities, many of our small businesses traditionally have not had the opportunity to take advantage of some of the programs and procurement processes that are involved not only at the city, but at our Port Authority and many of our larger companies, nor are they aware of the smaller projects that they may be able to afford within those organizations. So this particular program will allow them to be able to have the financial capacity of which they would need in order to take advantage of those procurement processes and business opportunities.
And I know a little of your history, and you have been involved with helping smaller businesses as well as diverse businesses get a piece of the pie, so to speak, over the years, so that not these contracts where they're government contracts or they're large employers and companies like Moz have the opportunity to work with smaller businesses. So it's important that they get a piece of that, correct?
Definitely. And as our mayor, within his campaign promises, was to make sure that our minority business community was able to take advantage of those opportunities. And he began, once he became mayor with the city, of primarily building this program and starting this office so that we will be able to do that. And that's what we've set out to do over the past 8 years, was to make sure that those businesses were able to be a part of our procurement processes within the city.
And Sydney King, you have been in the banking industry for a few years, and in your time in those years, you've always been about making that playing field level for all business people. How important is to have these funds available for the community that you serve?
You know, the minority community has always been a little bit left behind when it comes to opportunities. You know, we've kind of gone from robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, working with our bootstrings. This opportunity gives them a chance to start planning ahead, because we need to see business growth in our community, because those businesses that grow in our community create jobs within our community. You know, a black-owned business, at least 75% of their employees are going to be African American. A majority-owned business, no more than 25% of their employees are typically going to be African American. So creating those job opportunities within our communities, you know, you look at Davis Avenue, which is now King Drive, that used to be the Black Wall Street of Mobile. There were those Black Wall Streets in every city in America, and they were thriving within those communities. We lost those to the malls and to the suburbs, and we've got to bring those job-producing businesses back to our inner city, because that gives opportunities for our youth to grow and develop. And our goal at Commonwealth is to make wealth common in the community that we were created to serve.
Great name there. And when you look at the access to capital, how important is that for a small business?
Most small businesses don't have full access to capital. And with Commonwealth being where we are, a lot of businesses don't even think to come to Commonwealth, which is what we were created to serve, the historically underserved community. We want to see those businesses grow. We've got money to lend, and we've got to get the word out about Commonwealth so that people can come back and seek these opportunities. This historic program with the city, we went and addressed this with the mayor, hoping to develop something at the airport project, you know, with the airport, and create the opportunities for African American contractors. But the mayor and the city wanted to expand it to all businesses, and we thought that was just a novel idea. We want to see those businesses grow and excel.
You know, when you said airport, you automatically made my mind go back to Atlanta and what happened with the development of the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, as they saw the importance of how that could really be a blessing to the black business community, because you had contractors, they could do the work, but in many cases they didn't have the, say, initial capacity to do it of that size of project. But when you partner and team with others, those things can happen.
Yeah, black contractors can do the work. They've got the skills. They just can't carry the job 45, 60 days waiting on a payout, making their payroll every week, buying their materials. That's why you'll hear them say we don't find enough qualified blacks to perform. They can't carry the work. They can do the work, they just can't carry it. This program gives them the resources to carry the job so that they can, you know, hopefully look for bigger jobs, expand their capacity, expand their, you know, their bidding capacity so that they can do bigger jobs. And again, I'll probably say this a few times, start to make wealth common in our community.
And that's important. That's important that as I shared some of those numbers, small businesses drive the economy, they drive a community, and if you're not a part of that, then you're not a part of that economic engine, I guess you could say.
That's absolutely correct, and that's something that we want to see grow within our minority community here in the city of Mobile. We want to make sure that they're a part of that economic engine that not only makes the minority community grow, but it makes the city of Mobile grow as well. And that's what this program is set up to do. It's not to give them a handout, but a hand up is what we're looking to do.
And that hand up is a part of providing some of the things that traditionally small business and minority-owned businesses don't always have an opportunity to participate in, where they've got access to the capital to keep things going, because you were talking about making that payroll every week and paying the taxes and the expenses of the business operation. And I've been through that, so it's not something that you can always have a quiet night of sleep because you are thinking about those things.
And you know, another thing that a lot of our businesses are taught, stay out of debt, don't get any debt. Why would McDonald's borrow money? Why would the big companies, I should mention other names like that, I'm sorry. But why would the big companies borrow money? Because it helps them expand and grow their businesses and increases their capacity. And they don't do it just to pay the interest, they do it because it's creating wealth, creating generational wealth. and we've got to learn how to use debt responsibly. So we're not sitting there on Wednesday making phone calls to collect our receivables so that we can pay our people on Friday. If you're using debt responsibly, you're spending time on Wednesday creating new business or generating revenue for your business, and your payroll is met. But developing that strong banking relationship, like with a Commonwealth National Bank, is what helps advance that.
And that's what I was going to ask, that some of those things need to be taught because we haven't been exposed. And in all the business community are people that haven't had the exposure until either growth happens or a windfall happens,
Right.
and so you have a little breathing room so you can do these things. So is there a program for these business people to be able to learn what you all have to share of how they can take part in making the system work better for them?
Yes, so along with this loan program is also an educational side of it. We will be teaching QuickBooks classes. The City of Mobile currently has a contractors college in conjunction with Bishop State Community College that teaches those contractors how to properly manage each project. It has a financial component in it that teaches them about purchasing for those particular jobs, but also teaches them how to maintain their inventory, how to separate the finances for each individual project. So not only will this be a loan program for them to get that financial capacity, it will also include that educational component to teach them how to run their business on a day-to-day basis, but also included in that teaching them how to manage their finances for those particular projects.
We're going to hold on that point right there, and when we come back, we'll talk further about that area as we go into more about how the program is going to be a great help to the small business community. Sure. All right, well, Perspectives continues in just a moment. Welcome back. Our guests this morning, Archanique Kidd and Sydney King. We're talking about this new partnership between the City of Mobile and Commonwealth National Bank to change the landscape of what's taking place in some of the sectors of the community to help build the local businesses. In the last part, you were talking about the education process. Before we go back into that, let's talk again about what Davis Avenue used to look like, and St. Stephen's Road. You were sharing with me how you have memories of those places, and for the average person who has only moved here in the last, say, 10 years, they really don't have a clue about how strong those two corridors were and what was going on there. Some serious business was taking place.
Correct. I am a native Mobilian, have been here all of my life. I was fortunate enough to be able to travel to other cities and see what other cities were doing, but I always made sure I stayed here in Mobile. And one of those fun things about that was, one, growing up and being able to go to businesses on Davis Avenue, and also having my parents and family members who talked about when they were younger in the 60s and being able to shop on Davis Avenue. And I myself remember being able to shop on St. Stephen's Road. That's where our barbershops were, our hair salons were. That's where I got my shoes repaired. That's where the dry cleaners was. I went to church there, but most importantly, I'm fortunate enough to say that I'm a product of John L. LaFleur High School, and many of my classmates worked on St. Stephen's Road. And then it was the Winn-Dixie, but there were also the McDonald's, the Popeyes. So not only did we live within those communities, we shopped there as well. And those are things that I cannot say that my daughter has been afforded the opportunity to be able to do, because those things no longer exist. Those businesses have either shut down, moved to other locations, and they're no longer there.
I lost a sense of that community.
Correct.
And I know with you being a banker, Sydney, you know the importance of turning the dollar over in the community in which you're living and working and going to school. It's important that dollar turns over in that community.
It is so important. Maggie Anderson did a book several years ago about my Black Year, where she tried to spend all of her money with Black-owned businesses for an entire year. And it was difficult because during that year, many of those businesses failed. Fortunately for her, the bank that she was operating with failed, but it was acquired by another African-American owned bank, so that she was able to maintain that banking service. But the grocery store, she ended up shopping at gas stations because the grocery store failed. But what we have to do is recycle that dollar to build businesses in our community. She said that if we spent, just 10% of our money with black-owned businesses, we create 1 million jobs. Unemployment in the black community would be totally eliminated. And those are the things that we have to focus on. We have to find a way, if there's a black business we're trying to do business with, and maybe something's not quite right, tell them about it. Don't just walk away and disappear and never, never hurt. Give them the chance to fix it, because they may not know that there's a challenge. That communication is a big part of it. But what we tend to do is if something goes wrong, we tell everybody about what went wrong.
The negative.
Yeah, I heard someone say, if you're pleased with our service, tell a friend. If not, tell us.
Tell us.
It gives us a chance to fix it. But the key thing in creating those businesses and recircling that dollar is, again, creating jobs for our youth, getting them opportunities, because when those jobs move to the suburbs, either our youth don't have transportation to get there, or they don't want them there.
Right.
We've got to create those opportunities, because the information that they learn on developing businesses, becoming entrepreneurial minded, and developing generational wealth, because that's where the focus needs to be, focusing on generational wealth and stop the generational curses that have hurt our youth all these years.
And when you talked about that aspect of the business performance, you have to remember, in many cases, small businesses, people have focused on one area that they brought to this business to make it happen, and they may not have experience in all of the customer service related things, and so if they don't know, then they won't be able to fix it. So it's so important to share that, and that it's a part of that growing process. And when you're able to hire people, as you were saying, create jobs, you bring somebody in who can handle that part of it for you and pull you out of that, because that may not be your strong point.
Get the right service providers.
Exactly. I knew when I went into business, I ended up seeing that I wasn't able to do the part that I was excited about doing. I had to do everything, and so that happens to a lot of business people. So in the partnership and in the new program, you talked about turning the money over to hire more people. There's a way that this fund is going to work and how it will help others. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the fund is basically it's a loan fund. It's basically providing the financing to those businesses to help them expand their capacity, to help them grow their businesses. Now, let me say, it is not a grant.
Right.
Some people heard grant. It is not a grant. And it is not necessarily for startup businesses, because they have not demonstrated the ability to pay. But it is to help businesses advance. Now, it doesn't say that a startup business cannot get funding, because we've looked at some ideas, and I think the story that was in the paper, on the initial report, was a startup business that we were able to support that has expanded and done really good things. So we know how to look at those startups and make sure that they are in a field that has capacity. I've got one right now. There's a relatively startup business, started in October, but I see potential with that business for growth. We've got to develop something and structure something that can help them strive and grow, because they can be around for a lot of years and generating wealth and generating jobs in our community.
And so people who are watching today, they need to contact Commonwealth for getting into the program.
Yes,
and go ahead.
It starts at Commonwealth. The initial request would be to put a loan application in. Come in and talk to us. Talk to the lenders at Commonwealth. We have a website, not a website, an email address that you can send information in.
We'll be showing that for you.
But it's best to give us a call, set up an appointment. Let's talk about your business idea, your business opportunity. We will go through the due diligence, because one of the beauties of Commonwealth is the only bank in Mobile that is headquartered in Mobile. So our decisions are made right here in Mobile.
And that makes a difference, right?
Yes, it makes a big difference.
Because a lot of the banks are headquartered, and the chief loan officer makes a decision in Charlotte and other places out of the area.
And those other businesses, I'm gonna throw this shameless plug in here too. They support and focus on the areas that their headquarters are in. So we need to support banks and businesses that are located within our community, because why do all the football teams up in Birmingham tend to win more?
Okay, all right. Bigger banks get all of our money.
We put our money in their
Right.
banks, they
And they
support
take
their
it.
communities,
Correct.
and they expand their system.
All
So
right.
we got to work and grow our community.
And so where is Commonwealth located for those who aren't familiar?
We have two locations. One is on 2214 St. Stephen's Road. We have a second location on Crichton. I forget the exact address. I apologize.
That's all right.
But we're right there on Crichton in Mobile.
Near Mobile Street.
Yeah.
Yes, on Spring
Right.
Hill Avenue.
And we are about to open a location on Government Street over in West Mobile.
Excellent,
So
excellent.
keep an eye out. We are expanding west.
Got about 30 seconds left. Arshanique, tell us what you hope to see with the city's involvement.
Well, with the city's involvement and with the way that we've set up the loan program, we hope to see more small businesses being able to take advantage of those loan programs that are available to them. Not only do we have this one with Commonwealth, but we do have a microloan within the city of Mobile. It's small, however, with those startup businesses or those businesses that have been having some financial trouble, we can assist them with bonding, insurance, certifications, and things of that nature.
All right. Well, I thank both of you very much for coming and sharing this information. We'll have to do it again because always something to share about this, and we look forward to the successful businesses coming out of this new partnership.
Yeah, we'll come back and do some of the highlights and
Excellent.
testimonies.
Excellent.
Yes,
Sydney King,
definitely.
Arshanique Kidd, we thank you both very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And for more information, you'll see the information there, who to contact at Commonwealth National Bank, James White, Percy Jenkins, or Mr. King himself. And there's the information for the city of Mobile, a part of this dynamic partnership here to make a difference in our community. Well, we thank you for watching Perspectives Today. And of course, you can find the past episodes of our program on the website, of course, fox10tv.com, or on our YouTube page, the Fox 10 app there available for you there. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you back here next Saturday morning for Perspectives. I'm Eric Reynolds. Have a great week ahead.